जय। हरे कृष्णा। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राघव जय बिहारी, जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रजनरञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारी, यमुनातीरावनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जनवल्लभ वरधारी, जय गोपी जनवल्लभ वरधारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा, प्रभुपदा शिल प्रभुपदा, जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा, प्रभुपदा शिल प्रभुपदा, जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव, जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव। हरि गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल और हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। नम विष्णुपाद ब्रह्मंस प्रचार्य श्रोदश अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रचार्य श्रोदश शिष्य श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपाद की। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री वेद गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्णा गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। गंगा माई जमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। कलयुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, Gaur Hari 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 Bo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Ramnottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtiki पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपास्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. We are reading from chapter 63. Lord Krishna fights with Banasur, verse number 39. If you like, so you can repeat. यथैव सूर्यापिहतश्चयाय स्वया छायां च रूपाणि च सञ्चकास्ति एवं गुणयापिहितो गुणांस्त्वम् आत्मा प्रदीपो गुणिनश्च भूमान् यथैव सूर्यापिहितश्चयाय स्वया छायं च रूपाणि च सञ्चकास्ति एवं गुणेयापिहितो गुणांस्त्वम् आत्मा प्रदीपो गुणिनश्च भूमन् यथैव सूर्यापिहितश्चयाय स्वया छायं च रूपाणि च सञ्चकास्ति एवं गुणेयापिहितो गुणांस्त्वम् आत्मा प्रदीपो गुणिनश्च भूमान् यथैव सूर्यापिहितश्चयाय स्वया छायं च रूपाणि च सञ्चकास्ति एवं गुणेनापिहितो गुणास्त्वम् आत्मा प्रदीपो गुणिनश्च भूमन्. But to a translation, yatha eva, just as, Surya, the sun, pihita, covered, chayaya, by the shade, swaya, its own, chayam, the shade, cha, and rupani, visible forms, cha, also, sanchaka asti, illuminates, evam, similarly, gunena, by the material quality of false ego, apihita, covered, gunan, the qualities of matter, tvam, you, atma pradapiha, self luminous, guninaha, the possessors of these qualities, living entities, cha, and bhuman, O Almighty One. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O Almighty One, just as the sun, though hidden by a cloud, illuminates the cloud and all other visible forms as well, so you, although hidden by the material qualities, remain self-luminous and thus reveal all those qualities along with the living entities who possesses them. Purport. Here Lord Shiva further clarifies the idea expressed in the final two lines of the previous verse. The analogy of the clouds and the sun is appropriate. With its energy, the sun creates clouds which cover our vision of the sun. Yet, it is the sun that allows us to see the clouds and all other things as well. Similarly, the Lord expands His illusory potency and thus prevents us from directly seeing Him. Yet, it is God alone who reveals to us His covering potency, namely the material world, And thus the Lord is Atma Pradipa, self luminous. It is the reality of his existence that makes all things visible. Om Agyantimirandasya Yananjanashalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha श्रीचैतन्या मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, reading the translation once again. O Almighty One, just as the sun, though hidden by a cloud, illuminates the cloud and all other visible forms as well, so you, although hidden by the material qualities, remain self-luminous and thus reveal all those qualities along with the living entities who possesses them. Hare Krishna. So, welcome everyone for the Srimad Bhagavatam class. I'm really grateful to the authorities at SCON Chicago and all the assembled devotees for allowing me to speak on this most profound subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Although I'm not at all qualified, but just for my own purification, I would like to share a few thoughts. Please forgive me for any shortcomings and feel free to correct, comment, and ask any questions. Hare Krishna. So, today we are reading the verse number 39, chapter 63, entitled Lord Krishna Fights with Banasura. And yesterday we read 38. So this section particularly, what has happened in the whole past time is Banasur has been attacked by Krishna because Banasur's daughter has fallen in love with Aniruddha and Aniruddha has been kidnapped. So the whole story is how Banasur's daughter gets a dream, and in that dream he sees the form of she sees the form of Aniruddha, and her maidservant, she had a power to actually identify who is that person and where that person is located and bring that person in the sleep state. So she brought Aniruddha from Dwarka in the sleep state and she brought him in the palace of Banasur. Now the palace of Banasur was a big fort. It was having multiple walls and it was like a completely, protected. Maybe the most important thing is protected like that. So this fort was like having huge walls, just like the fort of Ravana, very huge walls. And to enter into the fort was not easy because you have to pass through so many security guards, and there are different Maya gates, which are not actually visible, but you can actually get trapped into that. So this construction of the fort was done by Banasur, and Banasur was a very powerful personality. He was a worshipper of Lord Shiva, but he became a demon is due to his association with materialistic people, demonic people. And that's why he had the audacity to challenge Krishna. And he said to Lord Shiva that you have promised me that whenever I am in difficulty, you will protect me. So Lord Shiva comes down and fights on behalf of Banasur. Now Banasur is son of Mother Bhumi. So he is having so much of power. And Krishna defeats Banasur. Krishna defeats Lord Shiva. And that whole fight has been very interesting. So this was the background of this whole story. And now Lord Shiva is actually glorifying Lord Krishna. And he says that, O Almighty One. The word used here for the Almighty in this verse is Bhuman. Bhuman. So that is the word used, Bhuman. Cha Bhuman. Atma Pradipo Guninas Cha Bhuman. Guninaha, the possessor of these qualities. So Lord Shiva is glorifying Krishna as the Almighty. Many times when we don't know the name of the God, we call out, O Almighty One. In many of the religious sects or religious, we can say, schools, they have God named as O Almighty, the Almighty. So Lord Shiva is saying the Almighty One, just as the sun through hidden by a cloud illuminates a cloud and all other visible forms as well. So he's giving an analogy to glorify Krishna. When we have to glorify someone, we have to use particular special words and some analogies, and that's how we can actually glorify, right? So here we are Lord Shiva is glorifying the supreme personality of Godhead. So the comparison is done with the sun. Now people who are materialistic, they have a tendency to glorify the opposite sex or the man on this earth, maybe their lovable object or a lovable person, and they come up with so many songs and poems, and in that they keep glorifying in different kind of analogies. So many Bollywood songs, Hollywood songs, they are all giving different types of analogies. But ultimately the perfection of glorification is when you use all those analogies for the Lord and his pure devotees. Then the perfection of the poet is there. Otherwise, today is most powerful day for every Indian, most fortunate day. It's August 15th and it's an Independence Day. So there are so many national anthems written, right? And when we hear that national anthems, as Indians, our chest becomes proud, and we say that we got freedom on this day. But freedom from what? Freedom from slavery or freedom from some material problems? The real freedom, Prabhupada says, is freedom from Maya, the illusory energy of Krishna. Right? The illusory energy of Krishna is so powerful that actually we forget that we are in bondage. And we think that the principles of Krishna consciousness or the principles of Dharma which we are supposed to follow are the obstacles. They are actually bonding us. So that is a reverse understanding has been created, right? When you are doing a reverse programming, what will happen? If you write a program to create something nice, but if you write a reverse program in a programming language, what will happen? The result will be reverse. So in today's world, most of the youngsters, most of the people in general, they have this tendency to look for freedom, and they look for freedom in external people, outside. Look for happiness outside. But actually, one can become free By practicing the regulative principles of freedom. What are the regulative principles of freedom? The regulative principles of freedom defined by Srila Prabhupada is no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex. By practicing these four principles, the real freedom will be achieved. The real freedom will be achieved. We are saying that, okay, India is free, but the problems are still existing. People are still killing animals. There is still slaughterhouses, brothel houses, gambling houses. People are still not educated in their consciousness. So real freedom is not happening. So the real freedom is to get free from the clutches of Maya and go back home, back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada, in Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit we read, that how Srila Prabhupada went to the president of India at the time. She was a lady, and Prabhupada said that please allow allow the ministers to read Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. He said that every minister in the parliament should read Srimad Bhagavatam, follow four regulative principles. Prabhupada was convinced for this. Our conviction has to be like Prabhupada. Prabhupada gave this model that if the ministers are not dacoits, they are actually Vaishnavas and they are practicing the principles of religion, dharma, the true dharma, then the whole country will be free from all the different problems. And that's where we have to understand that this analogy which Lord Shiva is giving, that the sun hidden by a cloud illuminates the cloud and other visible forms as well. So you, although hidden by material qualities, Krishna, you are hidden by material qualities. There is a curtain. Yesterday we read, there is a curtain of Maya. So when we see the Lord, what we see? Initially, a person may come, a thief may come and see, oh, there's so many jewelries, there's so much gold, this, that. So for that person is just interested in material things. Somebody will come and say, Krishna is so beautiful. Krishna is so, Radharani is so beautiful. So material eyes will not actually give us darshan of the Lord. So the material qualities which we interact in this material world, we also put it on the Lord and we comprehend the Lord like that. But the Lord is self-luminous, and that's why the living entities are also luminous. A person who is practicing Krishna consciousness over a period of time acquires godly qualities. Srila Prabhupada was such kind of a personality who had such a powerful godly qualities. Pure devotee of the Lord, he actually transformed the whole world. Once he was in Ahmedabad, in Gujarat. After 1971, when he went back to India, he went to Ahmedabad and the Gujarati reporters came to Prabhupada. Swamiji, Swamiji, Swamiji. So Prabhupada said, Kya baat hai? In Hindi he started talking. That recording is there if you hear the Prabhupada lecture series in Hindi. And they say, Swamiji, jadoo dikhao, magic. कुछ जादू दिखाओ स्वामी जी, जादू दिखाड़ो गुजराती में. So Prabhupada said, what magic you want to see? So they said, some kind of magic, Babas and sadhus, they show some kind of magics. So Prabhupada called one of his Western disciples, and Prabhupada said, this is the magic. So the reporters were shocked, what is this? Prabhupada said, they were hippies. I made them happies. So hippie to happies, transformation of the heart is what is the real magic. It's not very easy. After coming to America, I realized past 4 years, I've met so many Americans, Westerners, those who are aloof from Krishna. They've never heard of Krishna. They take up Krishna consciousness. But to make them consistent into the path of Krishna consciousness, it takes a lot for them. because the conditioning is so strong. So it's not very easy. Huh? The Western outreach programs, there you have to have hundreds of thousands of patience, times of patience. That okay, now slowly, and it's not very easy. But Prabhupada actually transformed. There was one bus party, Radha Damodar bus party. Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Vishnujan Swami Maharaj were the in charge for that. And if you read the book Radha Damodar Vilas by Vyasaki Prabhu, you will read that they were transforming people. As one person used to enter into the bus and come out from the other side as devotee shaved up. So Prabhupada could do that because he was 24 hours in association of Krishna. How much is difficult for that to become 24 hours in association of Krishna? We may think that, oh, we want to stay in the temple, we want to practice Krishna consciousness, and when it is too much, we want a break. Oh, let me take a break, let me go to into my room, or let me go into my house and let me engage in some materialistic activities. So Lord Shiva, who is Vaishnavam Yatha Shambho, he is the supreme-most Vaishnava, Prabhupada says, clarifies the idea expressed in the final two lines of the previous verse. What was the final two lines in the previous verse? Pratyasathapi yatha vikaram swamayaya sarvaguna prasiddhyai. That you sanction so that the various material qualities can fully manifest. So Prabhupada is saying in the previous verse, Lord Shiva is saying that, oh my Lord, because of your sanction, because of your order, because of your approval, the material qualities can manifest fully. So that is what we have to understand. Prabhupada is saying that Lord Shiva is confirming that. He's confirming that Krishna is the master of all the senses. He is Rishikesha. So he is the master. If we have to engage our senses in the right way, we have to engage in his service. Like that. So Lord Shiva clarifies the idea expressed in the final two lines of the previous verse. And Prabhupada says the analogy of the clouds and the sun is appropriate. The sun creates clouds which cover our vision. So here in America, when I came in 2019, I was seeing the cloud, I got a little afraid. Because here the formation of the clouds are a little different, and you don't see so much of formation of clouds. And they had forming in, and the sky is very big, huge, like that. Because I'm coming from a city, so in city we don't see so much of sky. We have skyscrapers, Mumbai like a city, right? So over here, it is said that when the cloud is covered, what is happening? Sun is gone. So when there's too much heat, this is summertime, there's too much heat on the streets. So everyone prays that, oh, let there be some cloud. But when there is dark, or where it's very cold, winter, then everyone prays that let the cloud go away. Let there be sun. So when the weather is changing, people's depression is also increasing. And practically here in America, there is lot of seasonal depressions, they call. They have named everything as a disease. If there is a small allergy, a small problem from something, they will immediately categorize it as an allergy. So the weather is actually changing our mood, and people here, they don't know how to tackle with the mood, and they get subdued by the mood that, oh, now I am depressed, so don't disturb me, I want to go on a break. And they don't care whether they are working, or they don't take any responsibility, they are careless and they just move on. So that understanding is very strong here, because there is no training, there is no shiksha, there is no discipline, and they name it as freedom. They name it as freedom. Another understanding we can take from clouds. So I was hearing this class from Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, and he was saying that these clouds are very, very important. When in our life, when we are practicing bhakti, we have clear sky. Sometimes it's very clear sky. You have good association of devotees, you have events, festivals, Janmashtami is coming, you are engaged in service, everything is good. At home everything is good and life is very good, and you're getting great association, you're getting mercy of devotees, like that. So it's a good clear sky of devotion. But as soon as dark clouds comes, the clouds where, you know, you are not able to get up in the morning, your health is down, something or the other happens. So when this clear, when the sky is clear, when everything is good, when your tongue doesn't have an ulcer, when your mouth is not having a mouth ulcer, when your body is fit, when you're mentally fit, engage into devotional service with complete intensity, because this is the time which will actually give, with complete absorption you will be able to actually sustain when there will be dark clouds. That's the only process which we have to understand. That's the way actually Krishna is telling to Arjuna, that you have to tolerate. Matra sparsu kaunteya sitoshana sukha dukkada agam paino nityastam statikshu bharata, 2.14 Bhagavad Gita. It's very backbone verse of the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is telling to Arjuna that Arjuna, you have to tolerate the dualities of this world, happiness and distress. Happiness and distress are like seasons, winter, rainy, summer seasons. They come and go. So how do we will tolerate? We may say that, okay, today I am busy earning money, or today I am busy making party. But now is the time when everything is working, the body is functioning, mind is at ease. Get into the devotional service intensity. Increase the intensity and absorb yourself like the sponge. Radhanath Maharaj gives the example of the sponge. When you put the sponge in the water, it absorbs everything. So devotional service, you have to go inside. You have to absorb yourself completely, whatever the situation is. And then you will be able to actually sustain in the times of dark clouds, in the times of reversals. I was reading this article by on ISKCON Desire Tree, and here the title says that spiritual journey begins only after a big reversal. Spiritual journey begins only after a big reversal, right? So in that article it is said that we observe that fear and necessity push us towards spirituality. Fear and necessity. Now I'm like doing cultivation program in University of Delaware, and one boy came to me that, I want to get I want to get another room, because the room where I am staying, the apartment where I am staying with my room partners, I'm totally disturbed. I'm not getting the right meal, vegetarian meal I need. I'm not getting peace. The mental peace is not there, and I'm ready to do anything. Please give me an opportunity. So that boy is interested in taking up spirituality because of fear. And that's what is said, that, you know, fear and necessity, out of necessity, push us towards spirituality. So I was in college, in high school, and I asked this question to one of my mentors, one of our temple president, Govind Prabhu. He used to come to program in our neighborhood. So we used to have every Monday evening program. So I used to go there and hear classes. And I asked him a question, because those days I was trying to practice bhakti, but my college life was also challenging, and there were so many distractions. So I used to get frustrated, why? why I have to study, or why I have to go to college? Why can't I only just be in the temple, or why can't I be only in association of devotees? And of course, frustrated with my own desires. So then I asked him a question that, Prabhuji, does frustration brings realization? Does frustration brings realization? So Prabhuji said, hmm, that it is not possible. And he gave an example of Srila Prabhupada. Same place, Ahmedabad. In Ahmedabad, the same reporters were asking Prabhupada different questions. So one reporter was not happy that he was always cautioning Prabhupada. And he was saying, Usme kya hai? Usme kya hai? Means, what great about it? What great about it? So Prabhupada asked a question to the reporter that, are you happy? Are you happy? So the reporter said, yes, it seems I am happy. So Prabhupada said, donkey is also happy. Working hard, foaming at mouth, he's happy. But that is not real happiness. So frustration is opposite of happiness. Right? So what is needed in the nectar of instruction, third verse says, Utsaha nishchay dhairya tat karma pravartana sanga tyago sato vrittir sabdir bhaktir prasiddhati. So Prabhupada defines three things are given here. Rupa Goswami is saying Utsaha nishchay dhairya. So Utsaha means enthusiasm. So Prabhupada defines enthusiasm as endeavor done with intelligence. Endeavor a donkey is also doing. Prabhupada says the donkey is also working hard. And he's getting some food. And he's frustrated. He's frustrated, but he's happy. So when we are frustrated and we get some happiness, we think that is happiness. But frustration will not bring realizations. Frustration, when a frustrated person comes in association of devotees, come in the association of sadhu, guru, shastra, then there will be realization. Then there will be an understanding that yes, I can change my life. I can do it. So that is very much important. That fear and necessity is there. But when you come in association of the devotees, then the realization will bring, then there will be peace and inquiry. And then inquiry takes us deeper into spirituality, and thus the spiritual journey begins and continues over days, months, years, and lifetimes. Like that. So now, many times we think about reversals. What are reversals? So somebody may say, oh, there was a great reversal in my life. I lost somebody. So birth and death are reversals. Birth of a person, almost many times we think that the other people's birth and death is reversal. We don't think about ours. When we lose someone else, we feel we are into reversal. But we don't understand the necessity or the urgency of losing our own life. That we may lose our own life any moment of time. Gauranga Prabhu was explaining or giving one understanding that in his personal life, how he had a near-death experience. Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj, at that time Devamrit Prabhu used to go to IIT for preaching. And Gauranga was saying that they were in a car and the car crashed. And Gaurang Prabhu and Bhakti Samrit Maharaj at that time, Devamrit Prabhu were in the hospital. And Gauranga Prabhu got all the mirror, he was sitting in the front, and all the mirror, all the glasses came into his face. But he was saved. And he told his parents that this life is now for Krishna. So he get that realization. There was a reversal and he was in association of sadhu. Had any other, same thing happened with my nephew, my cousin in India, in Indore. They were traveling and they got accident and he got bedridden. But for him there was no reverse, no realization. For him there was no changes. He began his life back and he's same. So why there is a realization? Why there is a transformation? Because of association. So Prabhupada is saying that it is God alone who reveals to us his covering potency, namely the material world, and thus the Lord is Atma Pradipa, self luminous, like that. So Prabhupada is saying that Ekela Ishvara, that is God is the only Ishvara, he is the supreme personality of Godhead, and he is the person who is responsible to reveal this material world to us. Just like Arjuna, in front of Arjuna, the Virat Rup is shown. So, how could Arjuna can see? Anybody else was not able to see. Because it is God who revealed in front of Arjuna the material potency, the opulence, like that. So, there are so many other examples where Krishna is revealing his material opulences. Yashoda Mai, Krishna opens the mouth when Krishna is ate the mud at the Brahmanda Ghat. Hmm? And Mother Yashoda opens the mouth of Krishna. Lord Balram's appearance day is coming, August 30th, after 15 days. So Lord Balram goes and says to Mother Yashoda, Mother Yashoda, Krishna has eaten mud, he's eaten dirt, mud. So Balramji is actually one who is actually complaining about Krishna, that to Mother Yashoda, right? So what is happening here? Balramji is taking the position of a teacher. He is trying to teach a lesson to Krishna by telling Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda is saying, okay, now I will see Krishna. Krishna is doing a lot of mischiefs now. When two brothers are doing something and one brother goes and says, complains, so the other brother feels like, oh, why my complaint is done? Now mother and father will come and they will scold me. But Balramji is doing this pastime. Through this pastime, we can understand that Balramji is Guru, is the teacher, is the spiritual master, right? So Balramji creates this situation in the life of devotees. He he actually removed the curtain. He actually removed the curtain for us, and he gives us the vision to Krishna. So he creates situations in our life. What is the weapon of Balramji? Plow, hull, right? So Balramji takes his weapon, and what is it used to plow the field, right? So he takes his weapon, he plows the bhakti field of the devotee's heart. He takes like this and he plows it. And what happens? Traction is created. A tractor walks on the field and creates traction. So the plowing is happening, the traction is happening. The Bhakti Lata beach is to make the Bhakti Lata, to sow the Bhakti Lata beach, you need to first plow the field. And then the seed will go inside. So you have to create that plowing thing. So who is doing that? Balramji is doing it. And then by creating attraction, he's creating attraction towards Krishna in the heart of the devotee. That is what Balramji is. He is creating attraction to create attraction towards Krishna. So that is what we have to realize, that if we pray to Lord Balram, who is non different, Nityanand Prabhu is non different than Lord Balram. Lakshman is same as Balramji. So we pray, Lord Nityananda is Lord Balram has been very angry as Lakshman, always getting angry with situations. If any difficult situations are coming, he's becoming angry. And then he comes at Balram. So Balaram is like elder brother, he becomes angry again. But when he comes at Nityanand Mahaprabhu, he is merciful. His mercy is no bound. He is giving mercy to Jagai and Madhai, isn't it? His, his mercy is so much that he's even going to these dacoits or drunkards. Now, what is the audacity of ours to go here in downtown in Chicago and do such kind of act? Uh, we don't want to walk in the downtown because it's so dangerous. I was yesterday at the POWR, Parliament of World Religion. We had a stall there, Govardhan Eco Village. We had a stall, and one female came, one Mataji came, and she said that, where are you from? And I said, I'm not from Chicago. And then we had a discussion about the whole project of Govardhan Eco Village. And then in a friendly talk, she told me that, don't walk on the in the downtown. Go into the car. Because she thought that we are monks, so we don't have car. And she was concerned about that. So no one wants to do. She's staying in Chicago and no one wants, she's like making people aware of this. They don't take that risk. But Lord Nityananda is taking that risk. Srila Prabhupada is taking that risk. Right? Devotees are taking that risk. And why they are taking the risk? Not to show off that, oh, I am able to do this, I am able to do that. If the risk is taken only because there is a desire of Lord Shri Krishna to remove the material coverings from the people's heart by chanting the holy name, spreading the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we'll stop here. It's a small purport and it's 8:25. If anybody has any comments, any questions, any thoughts, please share. Please give your reflections. We have Sunil Madhav Prabhuji here, very senior devotee.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for your class. I was thinking about the last point you mentioned about devotees taking risk to spread the mercy, and the, pondering about it, I was thinking that the only way to receive mercy is that we become a channel of mercy. That we when we distribute mercy to others, that's the only way we can keep it for ourselves. And it's after if we have a complacent attitude, it we might be physically present in the association of devotees, but we will not be receiving mercy. That's what I was thinking. If you can
Jai.
give your
What's your
feedback.
name, Prabhuji?
What did you
What's
say?
your name?
Vibhu.
Vibhu. Wow, wonderful. Vibhu Prabhu, thank you for having such a wonderful thought of giving mercy, sharing. So, in association of devotees, it's become very easy to provide mercy or give mercy to others. And it's very important that we take association of devotees and be in the association of devotees. Many times we take association of devotees and then we think we don't need their help or we don't need them, or I'm successful, I'm capable of spreading the mercy. Prabhupada and Krishna is with me. Definitely Prabhupada and Krishna is with us, but then if we not consider the devotees and we think that, oh, let me go out and take up the challenge. So that point is very much important, that we keep continuingly, it's a continuing process. Krishna consciousness is a gradual process. It's not like you become Krishna conscious and then you give Krishna consciousness, but you don't come back and seek association. So there is a trap there. There's a there's a saying here. I came in America and people say, that I'm independent. I'm not dependent on anybody. Definitely, in Krishna consciousness, everyone has to drive their own plane. They have to practice their own devotional service. That means that you have to be sincere on your own. But that doesn't mean that to become sincere on your own, you don't take shelter of devotees. Shelter is very much important. Hmm? Whether you are a president, whether you are a sannyasi, GBC, whatever position you are, shelter is always needed. So never to think that, okay, now I am independent, whether anybody comes or not, or whether anybody helps me or not. Yes, here in the Western countries, we have very few devotees. So many times it may happen that devotees are not there to help because there are very few. But we have to have a desire that, okay, Krishna, please provide someone who can help. And then appreciate that devotee. Don't control or don't monitor or do micromanagement with that person. So, what is happening? We are serving. Okay. So, the mood of service is to be there, that we are the servants. If we think that, okay, I have painstakingly, independently, with single hand, I have started this project. And what is your audacity to tell me anything? You have just come now. No, that is not it is. Krishna has sent that person. There is a reason. That person is giving us some pointers. And that's where association of devotees, never to give it up. The last thing a devotee may desire is association of devotees. Like that. So that's a wonderful point. Thank you for sharing that. So never think that, okay, I've done this. Now my course is over, and now I don't need. I'm alone, all on my own. I can do it everything. No. So thank you for reminding this. Yeah. Thank you for such a nice point. So we'll stop here. Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. और भक्त वृंद की जय. हरे कृष्ण.